end of the term.
You're fine, sir. Markia?
What's going on?
We have a motion by Mr. Joseph and a second by Ms. Cooper. We need to vote on approval of the minutes.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
I guess we're gonna raise our hands. Let's see how we, oh, there we go. We can do
Okay.
it.
Well, I'm pressing the button.
Little technical difficulties.
Boom, there it is.
Yeah, I'm trying to press yes, it's just not working.
We're all rusty.
It's not working.
Okay, well,
Okay, show of hands for yes, approval. Okay.
That's not two votes.
Any nays? All right, it passes unanimously. All right, I don't have any really opening remarks other than welcome everybody back. It's good to see everybody in person. Please keep safe. Seems weird with all the plexi shield, but that's good. And we do not, we don't have any consent agenda items, so we're gonna go to case number 2045C, special use permit and site plan. Applicant is Jade Events LLC. Well, hello.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Jake Howland. I'm with the Metropolitan Planning Commission. This is case 2045C with regards to 2833 Summer Grove Drive. The property in question is located on the south side of Summer Grove Drive, approximately 300 feet east of Mansfield Road. The applicant is seeking to utilize a 2,833 square foot suite within a 4,800 square foot building for a reception facility. The building that currently exists there has a beauty salon, bridal shop, church, and some various other uses. The property is zone C2 for Corridor Commercial Zoning District. All of the properties immediately surrounding it are also zone C2 as well. If you'd like to go to the aerial view of the property. You could vaguely make out the building, but to the north along Summer Grove Drive is the Word of God Academy and several restaurants. On the south side is a tile store, and there's also an elder care facility immediately south of the proposed building. So if you want to go to the site plan now. So the applicant's proposing a reception facility, which is defined in section 5.3 of the Unified Development Code as a facility for private events such as weddings, holiday parties, fundraisers, where food, beverages are provided either by the venue or caterer. There are certain regulations specifically for that land use. You can't charge a front entrance fee unless it's for a fundraiser or a charity event. Nonprofit. Primary activities are intended to be held inside the building, and anything moved to the outside requires a separate special use approval regardless of the district. So this property is zone C2, which does require a special use approval for a reception facility. Part of a condition for a special use permit is it can't compromise the health, safety, welfare of the surrounding community. All these surrounding properties, since they're also zone C2, they do have the potential to apply for a special use permit, thus allowing this land use on those properties as well. So the land use isn't intrusive to the surrounding zoning. Special use approvals require a site plan review and a pre-application conference. This applicant went through a pre-application conference on March 12th. Based on the pre-application conference, there were several suggestions. The parking spaces along Summer Grove Drive were initially facing outward towards Summer Grove Drive, so vehicles would go directly into the property from off the street, which isn't permitted. We had the applicant reorient those spaces so they're facing inward. You'll notice that the parking spaces immediately in front of the building, however, are still facing outward. The engineering department didn't really have any issues with keeping that facing outward. That suite on the left-hand side of the site plan, that is where the reception facility is being leased. This site plan's also, it's upside down, so north is actually the bottom of the page. There is a new dumpster enclosure proposed, and in addition, there will be curb stops in front of some of the parking spaces. The parking lot is more so in compliance now than it was prior to the application. However, the parking spaces were shifted over slightly, so you'll notice there's a pole sign in between the building and several of the parking spaces. There isn't 24 feet of clearance in between that pole sign and several of the parking spaces, so the applicant will be expected to move that over to provide at least 24 feet of clearance. The elder care facility is facing the rear of the building. It's a solid wall. There is screening, shrubs, trees, and most of the activity will be oriented towards the front of the building where the parking lot is and within that building itself. So it isn't expected to create any nuisances there. We are recommending approval with stipulation that the parking lot spaces are adjusted to provide full clearance between the pole sign and the parking spaces. Any questions? Or?
Did the applicant indicate that they would have any issues with the stipulation?
No, not to me.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jay. Is there anybody that, in favor of this case? Anybody else? Okay. Anybody in opposition?
And Madam Chair, the applicant is here if you have any questions for her.
All right, the applicant's here. Anybody have any board members have a question?
She wishes to speak.
Okay. Well, hearing no opposition, I will call for a motion.
Motion to approve with the steps. Second.
We have a motion to approve by Mr. Joseph and second by Mauricio. I call for the vote then.
Okay. Yeah, this is a yes.
Motion approved. Okay, there's going to 20,
Did that
80,
register 5 votes?
did it register 5?
Did it register 5?
These
Oh,
things-
okay.
This isn't
But-
working.
Okay,
But
yeah,
it-
let's put on record that Mr. Elberson has, machine's not working, he raised his hand as in favor.
Favor.
Okay.
Thank you.
Try this one.
So case number 2085C, zoning request, applicant H&R Investments. Looks like it's been deferred. Okay.
Mr. Moore, you will explain. the
Hi,
situation.
everyone. My name is Ben Mueller. I'm a planner here with the MPC. I'm representing this case at the moment. It has been deferred by the applicant. Originally, when it was submitted, there was a filing error with the site. If you'll look at the site plan up on the board, you'll see that the parcel that is indicated does have a parcel connecting it to the east and west of it. Both of those were supposed to be included with the rezoning case. Because we did not get the documentation in time to get legal ads out, the applicant has requested to defer so that they can rezone the entire property rather than just the specific chunk outlined on the sheet. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any board members have any questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
And do we have anybody in favor
Of the deferral?
of a deferral? I guess you do
So,
that.
so moved.
Any opposition on a deferral? I guess not. All right. Mr. Curtis, call for motion to defer?
So moved.
Okay.
Second?
Second.
All right. We have a Curtis is a motion to defer, and Ms. Cooper is seconded, so I will call for the vote,
This is hot
other than Mr. Elberson.
now. I think she fixed it.
Oh, okay.
I'll go to my normal seat.
We'll try it again.
I'm going to my
How about this? Anybody else?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got it. The motion to defer has been approved. And case number 2093C, code text amendments. And applicants, Metropolitan Planning Commission.
Mr. Bailey?
Yes, Adam Bailey with the MPC. These code text amendments, there are 25 in total. As y'all know, it's acknowledged that upon the adoption of the UDC that additional corrections may come from time to time. Staff is proposing these 25 amendments. 23 of them have to do with ways that we could possibly, I don't want to say benefit, but acknowledge COVID in ways to make our application process a little more streamlined. We have 2 amendments that deal with political signs, and Amendment 25 deals with closure and abandonment. When it comes to COVID, like I said, there's unforeseen ramifications. So the MPC looked at ways to make the application process, like I said, more streamlined. One of those ways it was to add an administrative special use permit process, which makes certain uses, while they're still special use permits, they would be administratively approved, which means that they wouldn't have to go in front of a public hearing, and it would shorten the application process. Other ways with the COVID amendments is that I'm referring to them as is certain uses were lessened, their restrictions were lessened when it came to nonconformities, meaning lessening the certain restrictions when it comes to lots, signs, and manufactured homes. 2 amendments deal with political signs. Currently, political signs aren't defined, so we're defining it and we're putting restrictions on it. Restrictions in residential lots are less than 8 square feet. On non-residential lots, it's less than 16 square feet. If you want to put a political sign on a non-residential lot that's greater than 16 square feet, it has to get a sign permit. And finally, Amendment 25 is through conversations with engineering. This amendment aligns the proper policy concerning this process. So in a nutshell, that's what the 25 amendments are.
That was impressive.
Yes.
Any questions by the board members?
May I add some comments, Madam Chair?
Yes, please.
There are a couple of things that we wanted to share with you so that you would have a great understanding of. Number one, the fact that we had an ordinance that did not determine what the size of political signs could be in residential and commercial locations. And we found from the candidates that became extremely confusing to them. And we had a policy that historically that the signs could be 8 square feet in residential areas and 16 square feet in commercial locations. And we are in the this actually codifies that into law so that they can see that in the ordinance, and it will go into effect for the election that's going on right now, so that there will be enforcement activities conducted to share with the candidates the type of signs that can go into different residential and commercial areas. Once COVID-19 hit back in March, and we had a total shutdown, as you well know, some of you are business owners, that the events of that coronavirus significantly impacted the ability of businesses to operate. And we became very sensitive to the needs of the business community because we want to do everything within our power, even though many times we're criticized as being obstructionists. We continue to do everything we can within our power to ensure that businesses can get operational as quickly as possible. And the special use permit was a process that was significantly long, and we had to come up with a way to shorten that. And as you know, I like to get everybody involved, and Stephen has been working with the land use planners. I just wanted him to give you a brief synopsis of how much time we have saved by recommending the administrative special use permit to you. Stephen?
Basically, we can save up to 50% of the time, which right now, it could take, depending on where you fall and when your time you want to submit, it could take you almost 8 weeks.
Oh.
And we could cut it down to 4. And so the biggest thing is there's not a deadline where oftentimes you had to wait for a deadline to move through. You can submit this anytime and just begin to go through the process. The reason it's not shorter than that, we could have even made it shorter than that, but we felt like a notification period needed to be in the ordinance. So we still have a 2-week notification where we're getting word out to people that there's something going to change there. That way they, even though it's not a public process, at least they're aware of it, and they could call and ask questions. And also we've already, I've noticed the other day that a design professional had contacted us who's been tracking these ordinances and applauded the MPC for being proactive and coming up with some ideas that would help shorten and expedite the approval process. And in some cases that we just cleaned up some things that just, quite frankly, didn't make common sense. So we've had some people, like I said, they reached out to us and told us how much that they appreciated us being proactive and coming up with some solutions.
Well, thank you. That's great. Great news. Good work. I'm good. Everyone else? Thank you. Mr. Bailey? So I need a motion to approve the
So moved.
code text amendments.
Second.
All right. Mr. Joseph, motion, Ms. Cooper, second. Now I'll call for the vote. All right, it's approved. Passes. Do you have any I guess this is the end of the hearing. We're going to go into old business. Is there any, I don't think we've had any committee chair reports. We've been meeting.
Master Plan Committee.
I did have one thing, I think, and I'm going to ask Adam to make sure that I'm correct. We have sent out information to the Master Plan Subcommittee or the Master Plan Advisory Committee members trying to determine how we would meet. Ordinarily, as you know, we would meet live, but certain entities are not able to meet live and are not meeting live and may not desire to meet live for the Master Plan Advisory Committee. We had one solution was to meet in the Horseshoe. There are 4 MPC representatives, 3 Cattle Commission representatives, and 3 City Council and 2 Cattle Parish Commission, which would be 10. And as you noticed, that this Horseshoe could handle the 10 person because it handles a 12-member Cattle Parish Commission. But that's one objective, and the other possibility is a Zoom meeting, because this meeting will not be a public meeting where a quorum of anybody will be and any decisions will be made. I don't know if we've gotten the poll back to make a determination, but I'm going to ask Adam to share that information with me.
Tentatively, the meeting we're pushing for is Friday, September 11th at noon to 1:30. I did send an email out to all the Master Plan Advisory members, and I've only heard back from one of them.
Shows you the excitement about the master plan. But,
Can you tell me when the date is that you mentioned?
September 11th at 12 o'clock.
September 11th.
Typically, we try to have the meeting the first Friday following the MPC meeting. However, that's a holiday weekend, and so we pushed it back the following week. The poll was to ask whether you wanted to have it in live or via Zoom.
Madam Chair, we have recognized that it is, throughout this process, it is going to be extremely difficult to coordinate meetings, but we are determined to come up with as many alternatives as we possibly can to ensure that the process continues. As you know, the community section of the MPC, community planning section, has been working on reviewing the master plan recommendations. They have done an extensive report of those recommendations, that they're in a position in order to make that information available to the master plan advisory committee, and they've made it available to you. And from there it goes to the long range planning committee with the parish commission and the full parish commission and city council. But it would be very, very, very great if we could have a master plan advisory committee meeting and get that board to functioning again. We have some very important things to do in 2021, and having all the branches of government involved in planning with the city council, parish commission, and the MPC board. We're going to do everything we can to get that advisory committee operational and active. And like I've shared with the city council, the city attorney representative, if it has to be, we can have Zoom meetings to conduct that advisory committee.
Thank you. I guess I should answer my email. Okay, in new business. Okay, the consideration of the proposed 2021 MPC annual budget as recommended by the Budget Committee. Budget Committee did meet, went over the budget. Anybody have any questions about that? Anybody want to present anything? It looks good to me, but you know. Nobody has anything?
We need you to adopt the budget.
All right, then I need a motion if we are going to adopt this to present to City Council.
So moved.
Second? Mr. Roca? All right, Mr. Roca? Sorry.
Actually, I'm on the committee.
Have a hard time
I
hearing.
don't think it matters, but I
Okay.
didn't want.
Heard that though,
All
right?
right, we have a motion by Mr. Joseph and a second by Mr. Roca. If we could, I'll call for the vote. Motion is approved. Other matters to be reviewed by the commission. Report.
We do, I'm like you, Madam Chair, I can hardly see people. I'd like for the zoning administrator, Mr. Jordan, to share with you the number of certificates of occupancies and the trend that's trending, because the trend that's trending is more businesses going home-based because of the impacts of COVID-19. But he's done a report, and I don't know if it's been made available to you, but I'd ask him to just quickly give us a synopsis of that report.
Yeah, well, the report is, they should have all copies. It's gonna be the home-based businesses gonna have a COR on the end of them, and from the first of July up until today, we have had a total of 93 home-based businesses created in the city of Shreveport, and 4 in the parish. So that'll be a total of 97 home-based businesses within that 45-day period. And the commercial businesses, we're still getting commercial businesses. It's not as much as the home-based, but in that 45-day period, we've had 31 new commercial businesses in the city of Shreveport. Y'all didn't hear me? Y'all couldn't hear any of that?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, I can.
No, I just can't see over there, so I was just waiting to.
I know, it's hard to see.
So that's how the city of Shreveport has been growing amidst this pandemic.
That's good.
Interesting.
And
Thank
Madam
you.
Chair, it's, if we would be not proper if we did not acknowledge the fact that we have a state representative visiting with us today. I think she left,
Her case wasn't here.
but she was coming to make some comments to the board. I talked to her earlier in the week, but I guess she left. But we did have Ms. Tammy Phelps, Louisiana State Representative, in our midst today. And she will be back.
She must have left.
I just have to make just a couple more brief comments. I've watched each legislative body as they have returned to the chambers to conduct meetings. And each body has been strained as it has returned to the chambers in order to conduct the business of the city and the parish. I'd just like to thank the initiative and the ability and the determination of this board, because it puts me in a very difficult position when we can't conduct the business that we're required to. And just share with you my profound appreciation for your making the sacrifices to come. Miss DeMontay and Ms. Cooper contacted Mr. Joseph when we lost our quorum, and he proudly wearing that cowboy mask is in attendance and made sure that we didn't have to call this meeting off. So the staff a lot of time gets a lot of recognition, but as I've shared with people around the city, if you must say something ugly about the MPC, say it ugly about me and I can take it. But this board is the most wonderful people there are in the city of Shreveport and the parish of Caddo, and they do an incredible job, and they constantly do the things that needs to get done in order to ensure that businesses are able to develop and that citizens' needs are taken care of. So I just wanted to share that because I told Mrs. Cooper that this was 2 years ago was my date that I was appointed as the interim director, and it's been a real thrill since August working with you and working for you and the support that you've given me, and I just wanted to share that with you.
Well, we thank you and everybody on the MPC staff and team.
Sorry.
It's much, you're delightful to work with and very responsive, and I appreciate that.
Thank
I
you.
know we all, I can say that for everyone here.
To echo that, proud to be a part.
Thank you. That's all I have, Madam
All
Chair.
right, any public comments? Any chair or board members' comments? I don't have any board members' comments?
Okay.
All right, I'll call for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All right,
All right.
adjourn.
You got it done?
We're troopers.